Today we're going to talk about Virginia Standard 3.7a. Estimate and use the U.S. customary and metric units to measure lengths of objects to the nearest half inch, inch, foot, yard, centimeter, and meter. So on this side we've got the U.S. customary with inch, foot, and yard, and metric units, centimeter, and meter. Now in the United States, we use the U.S. customary, so you're familiar with the inch, foot, and yard. In many places in the rest of the world, they use centimeters and meters for the metric system. I'd like to show you two different rulers that I have. So this is my daughter's ruler, so it's got some designs on it. This ruler, if you look closely right here, the first line starts off of the edge of the ruler right here. So when you start your measurements on this ruler, you would need to make sure you start at the first line or your units will be off. Looking at this next ruler, this starts at the very edge of the ruler. That's where the first line is. So if I were to put them side by side like this, you can see that if I were to measure starting at the end of this ruler, my units would be off because this one starts at the end and this one does not start until this first line. So whatever ruler you get, you need to make sure you watch for it. Our packets were mailed home, so when you receive your student packets at home and we're working on length, we gave you a paper ruler to use. So when you use that, be careful of where the end of your ruler is, and you need to use the very first line. So this is how you use the inches on this side. See inch right here? This ruler only has inches. I could take this ruler and flip it upside down, and on this side, we've got centimeters. This ruler here does not have centimeters at all. All right, so let's talk about inches. So we need 12 inches to equal 1 foot. So what does that mean? Looking back at our ruler here, this one has 1 through 12. So this ruler equals 1 foot. So if I had 3 feet, that means 3 of these rulers, and I lined them up end to end, I would have 1 yard. So 36 inches equals 1 yard. Well, how did I get that? If I have 12 inches in 1 foot, and I need 3 of them, that would be 12 times 3, and that gives me my 36 inches in the yard. So let's talk about our centimeters. So centimeters, this ruler goes to 30 centimeters. But when we talk about the metric system, we go to a meter, not a yard. So how many centimeters are in a meter? Well, there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So I would need a whole bunch of these to equal my meter. Now, I don't have a yardstick or a meter stick with me at home. So what we'll practice next is we will practice measuring some lines. So I'm going to do inches first. So I'm going to take my ruler that is just inches. And if I hold it on the end of my ruler to make sure that I'm getting my measurement, this line is 1 inch long. And I'm going to put IN for my abbreviation for inch. Okay, now I want to show that same line, but I want to use the other ruler and show you that I would not start at the end of the ruler. I would start on my first line here. Now, if I started at the end of the ruler, do you see? It changes my measurement. So you have to be very careful where you put your ruler. Make sure you start on that line. Okay, let's measure the next line. Well, this line is between my 1 and my 2. So what is the line in the middle called? that's half. So this would be 1.5 inches long. So you put 1.5 inches. All right, the next line. Make sure we are on our end of the ruler. This goes over to the 4. So this is just 4 inches. No half on this one. All right, I'm going to switch back to the other ruler just to make sure you get what I'm talking about. This line is at the end of the ruler. So if I am using this ruler here, and I see this one, it goes past the 5. So it's in between my 5 and my 6. That makes it 5.5 inches. Alright, this little line right here, it's not on the 1, it's before it on that long line in the middle, making it just 1/2 inch. This is a long line. Make sure I'm on my end. Go all the way down. And this measures 8.5 inches. Alright, the last line measures 3 inches long. Now let's practice measuring the lines with our centimeter ruler. Now centimeters, they are smaller than our inches. So if I'm using my centimeter ruler, this is a ruler where the line is not at the end of the ruler, so you have to be careful. This gives me 1 centimeter. The abbreviation for centimeter is cm. The next line, 5 centimeters. Our next one, make sure we get it lined up. We have 11 centimeters. This longer one here goes down to 15 centimeters. This gives us 9 centimeters. And our last one here is 6 centimeters. So let's practice measuring some everyday objects. Let's take this doll I found in one of my children's rooms. About how many centimeters is this doll? That's closest to my 3 inches right here. How about this bottle of glue? So if I go down from the end here, it matches up to my 6 inches. How about this sparkly pen? That's in between my 5 and 6, so that is 5.5 inches. This pretty blue crayon, that's in between my 3 and the 4, which gives it 3.5 inches. This pencil, measuring this pencil, it is closest to 7, so we're going to estimate it at 7 inches. And this is a fan. So we've got a longer measurement here. And we're going to put it at 9.5 inches for the bottom part of it. Now, I encourage you to take your rulers at home, go around your house, and find some objects and measure them